Oyster mushrooms are mild in flavour, but they soak up sauces like a sponge. Today, we're turning them into a rich, meaty rendang. We start with the spice paste. You can use store-bought, you can use whatever you have available. Today, some shallots to provide the savoury backbone and bring some subtle sweetness, garlic to reinforce the umami, and later bring some caramelized sweetness, ginger for some warm heat and zesty freshness, galangal for some sharp peppery note, lemongrass for that signature bright citrusy goodness, fresh chilli for some fruity heat and colour, turmeric for some earthy warmth and golden hue. We pound or blitz into a paste. Cold pan, coconut milk in. You want to aim for about half of the weight of your mushrooms. Generous amount of pemasek in. You want to aim for half of the weight of your coconut milk. This will provide a lot of body for your rendang. Half of your mushrooms, and we tear them by hand to turn them into even smaller sponges. If you have some larger ones, they tend to be more fibrous. Let them go in during this round. Looks like a lot, but you watch them shrink. Last bit of maths, salt. Overall, you want to aim for 0.4% of the total weight of your mushrooms. After shrinkage, that will give you about 1% salt. Now we gradually bring in some heat and let the West Sumatra merandang magic begin. First, the heat would gradually release the up to 90% moisture from our mushrooms, imparting the umami, making room to absorb some water-soluble flavors from our paste and our milk. Then, when we get to boiling point, all the combined moisture starts to evaporate and flavors start to concentrate. We keep the heat low and stir occasionally. Now, after a bit more than half an hour of gentle simmering, we're starting to hear a tiny sizzle at the bottom of the pan. What do we have there? Coconut oil from our milk, the milk solids from our aromatic paste, and of course, our mushrooms now well integrated into our dish. We slightly crank up the heat and start building flavors, evaporating the rest of the moisture at the same time. Once you hear the bottom sizzling, you pretty much have to start mixing. Now remember that mountain in the beginning. Suddenly we barely have a starter portion. We've driven off most of the water content, and now we're really building flavors through the Maillard reaction, giving us meaty, savory depth, and later caramelization from the natural sugars from our paste, giving us nutty, toasty complexity. And by this point, you should be able to smell the strong scent of toasted coconut, the rendang signature. Now, as the temperature continues to get higher, we're starting to see this beautiful golden layer of fond, concentrated Maillard goodness, caramelized sweetness. Normally, I recommend lifting that with a bit of water, but we have something that we saved that is 90% water. So they gradually go in to release their liquid, to get toasted in our coconut fat, and to give us contrasting texture for the whole dish. How you want to allocate them is up to you. If you want to use more mushrooms in the beginning, you'll get more rendang flavors. If you save more mushrooms towards the end, you'll get more mushroom flavors. So play around with the ratio. Bit by bit, just like deglassing with water. And you'll get layered flavors, layered texture. It's a labor of love, but it'll be worth it. And whenever it gets a bit too dark for your liking, we can still enlist outside help. Small dash. One clean bottom, we continue to layer. And this is why oyster mushroom is perfect for this dish. You get wonderful, fibery sponges that absorbs everything while giving you texture at the same time. Almost a kilo. Now, once everything's in, we know we have the flavor, so we're solving for the desirable texture. How much do you want the first batch to get crispy? How dry do you want your rendang to be? It's up to you. It's all up to you. Taste and decide what you like. Personally, I like to push everything down and leave it for about 30 seconds, almost teasing the pan to slightly burn, giving you a hint of burnt coconut and caramel. Once the sizzle sounds a tiny bit dry, one last round of the lifting of the fond. Oof. Yep, coconut. The paste is the tasty bit. A dash of lime juice or tamarind juice, and you have a dish that's as rich as any.